everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplanes.com. I'm Namrata and I'm taking interviews of the CEOs and founders of several innovative startups in India. In today's interview, I'll be talking to Mrs. Masarat Tawawala, the co-founder and director of Sundarji's Global Academia and the CEO of Suyog Sundarji Group of Institutes. She is a passionate educator working relentlessly for over years to empower and enlighten learners of a dynamic world community. You want to know what Sundarji Global's Academia does? Let's get into the video to know more.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for joining today. I'm Namrata and I'll be taking your interview today. So, before starting out with the interview, could you just introduce yourself to the audience?
I am Masarat Tawawala, the co-founder and director Sundarji's Global Academia and CEO of Suyog Sundarji Group of Institute and a master trainer and a specialist in inclusion and a coach for special needs children.
Great. So, the startup that you have, what is it about and how did you come up with this idea?
Okay. So my startup has started way back in 1996. So it's like that time it was absolutely now the concept of startup, innovation, and a whole lot of things have come into being. But at that time in 1996, we called it entrepreneurship. We called it a small enterprise, a medium small scale enterprise. So I could say my startup came up organically. It was something that I had thought about starting a kindergarten school at way back in 1996. So when I started my kindergarten school, the idea originated organically. I was working for Aga Khan Foundation in the field of education for children, and somewhere along the line, I felt that I could move and start my own startup, and that's how the idea originated. So let me tell you what are the institute under my startup. So Sundarji's Global Academia is an umbrella term for all our institutes. So we started in 1996 with just a kindergarten. And later on in 2001, we started the Sundarji Teachers Training Institute. In 2003, we started the Sundarji Early Intervention Center. In 2005, we started the Sundarji's Institute of Special School. Later on, we very soon added to it our CBSE school. So now we have Suyog Sundarji in Wisdom School. And that's how all our startups came along. Most of our startup came up with a specific need. This is in short our institute. And of course, we also have with the Teachers Training Institute, we also have various courses running with various universities, various tie-ups and collaboration. So a lot of little startups we have under our umbrella term.
Great.
That's it.
So, was there an existing market gap way back in 1900s when you started? Could you identify a market gap that where your product or your idea would rightly fit in?
Yes. So definitely in 1996, when I started my first kindergarten enterprise, there was a huge market. I mean, at that time, preschools, the concept of preschools was just warming up. It was so novel that there were just these sparsely schools here and there. People used to enroll their children directly into high schools, like the age of 3.5 years. The gap, like 2 years, it was non-existent. People had not warmed up to the idea. People were not aware of the brain development, neuroscience, that how important it is for a child to get right stimulation for cognitive development. So this requirement for a parent was only for a high school, not for a kindergarten when he started at that point of time. So we had to, actually create that environment for our startup to flourish. Need was very important, though there was a need, but they did not realize that this need had to be satisfied. So we had to create the entire environment for it.
Right. So, were there any difficulties that you had faced in the beginning?
So every little startup that I started, whether it was the kindergarten teachers training institute or my early intervention center or even the special school, there were levels of difficulties. Like the difficulties that I faced in the early stages was market capitalization. I had a lot of problem in establishing my brand, in the cash flow, in hiring resources, because as you know, any startup will always have these issues. Now, how do we make a brand presence? That was the first very important challenge that I faced. So it was like you have to start from scratch. I'm talking about way back 10, 15 years back. Now, when you're talking about 10, 15 years back, internet was still warming up. We couldn't get ideas on the net. We had whom do we talk to? We couldn't hire MBA graduates. We couldn't have professionals coming because it was a startup. Cash flow was a problem. Hiring individuals were a problem. They were not highly professional individuals we hired. So all these challenges that we faced were far and wide. We had to brainstorm amongst ourselves, take advice from people whom we on a lot of free advice. We used to visit a lot of people, read about it in books. Those were the kind of tips and hints that we. So getting revenue was very, very crucial for us. We had limited amount of money in our kitty. When our first startup, when we started, we actually had sold off everything to get that premises, which was just 2,000 square feet. So we knew that we had nothing the next day in our kitty. We just had our premises, we had our expertise, we had a little money to get enough furniture and our resources. So I remember when we first started, we actually swept the floor. We did most of the work ourselves. And we started with very small pool of children, just 11 kids. And we didn't know how would we survive for the next year. So those were a stepping stone for success. I think those first few years we learned anything and everything. And that helped us to build all the little startup that we did for the next 25 years. So the 6 startup. Resilience was the most important thing that we learned, the qualities of human nature. That's resilience, with minimum, how to get maximum. So there were good things and bad things the challenges that we faced. Of course, the cash flow was the biggest challenge. And we learned to manage originally like our grandmothers would do, manage our cash flow by ourselves. We did not take, till today, in any of our startups, we did not take any loans. For 25 years, we've not been loan oriented. We learn best how to manage our cash flow and make new institutes together. That's it.
Right. So, when parents enrolling special child care children or normal children of small age, their parents play a big role in deciding which institute to go. So, why should parents choose your school and not someone else's?
Very good question. So I would say, Namrata, for all our institute, there were 3 words that we hung up like close to our hearts. Our integrity. We never compromised on our integrity. We never compromised on the value that we were giving. We never compromised on the quality. Quality was our first watchword. At every step we felt whatever we had has to be of a premium quality, whether it's giving an activity, whether it's giving a stimulation to the child, whether it's giving resources to the kids, whether it's giving a program. Everything had to be of a quality that we would desire. Secondly, it was very, very important that we were ethically upright. A no means a no. We wouldn't compromise on any basis on our principles. So we knew what was right, we knew what was wrong. There were a lot of market trends which were a business model, like we could have got carried away and we could have done wrong things. But we felt ethically we shouldn't be doing anything wrong. And that's how we established ourselves as a premier institute in the field of special education, or whether it's in the field of kindergarten inclusive education, or it's in the field of our CBSE school. Quantity never mattered to us. It was always quality. We never went after numbers. So if in our kindergarten we had 100 kids, we were very happy. The next door could have 300 kids, but for us, we knew those 100 kids had to be given the best. And I think that 3-4 things that we stood by helped us to travel the 25 years of our life.
Right. So, talking about another aspect of this business is that having employment. So, if I am a job applicant at your school, and I ask you that, ma'am, why should I work with you and not at any other school? How would you revert back to that?
Yes. So, what do employees look for? One is besides the salary. First is the salary. Okay. So we pretty much are on the par with whatever is offered as salary based, but we have a value added to the employees. There are two things we give our employees: power and responsibility. You are a brand ambassador for us. It's as simple as that. Every employee has to have a vision that they own the company. It's not we who run. They are our pillars. So we give them a little responsibility along with power. We give them cash in their hand and give them a free hand. This is what it is. Go and explore yourself. Go and buy things that would be best needed for the class. Go and buy those materials and resources that could be best needed for the class. They want flexibility. So flexibility in terms of managing their materials, their resources, managing themselves, managing their curriculums, managing the parent community. So that's on flexibility, which they are given. They also want innovation. Everybody, this generation especially coming to us, this pool of teachers, these 5-6 years, they need to have that kind of innovation given to them. So they can create, they can explore. This is what is given. We have a lot of professional growth with us. That professional growth is taken care at various levels. So you can be a master trainer with us. You can be a trainer at various levels. So they are constantly upgrading. We are constantly making them master trainers. So they have they have a say in the matter. Plus, they have freedom to ideate. So our business model, if I explain you, is such that they have complete freedom to ideate also. So if these kind of things we offer our employees, then definitely they stay with us. I have to tell you some astonishing facts. When we started in 1996, we still have those employees with us. So, they come and they go. We have a record that most of our employees, in fact, I wouldn't call them employees, are facilitators, have not left us for a better pasture in terms of remuneration or in terms of monetary growth, but they have left us only if they've moved cities or, they've started their home life or, they have left because of a special needs child. So we've got that record. If you're once a Sundar GI, you'll always stay a Sundar GI.
Great, ma'am. So, also, if one interesting question for you, beside this typical conversation that we are having, is that if you were not doing this, having a business of your own, what do you see yourself doing?
I think I would have been a writer because I love to read and I love to write, which I barely get time to write now with so many things on my hand. I would have traveled the world and maybe I would have been a travelogue person doing shows on travel. Both these things I have not had time to do. I don't know when will I do it, but travel and writing are very close to my heart. I would have had an NGO because we do have our CSR responsibility even as Sundarji. But I'm very, very passionate about a lot of causes that I want to stand by. And these causes are very close to my heart, Like whenever I see Kaun Banega Crorepati and I see those Friday episodes of Karamveer, I want to be there one day as a Karamveer, and I still feel that my next 15, 20 years of my life, I want to devote to a cause. So in our 25th year, we've already started planning for the next 5 years for this cause. That maybe on our 29th July, which is our Founders Day, we will be announcing for it.
Okay. Also, are you associated to any vendors as such?
Yes. So now, since last 2-3 years, we have gone on to the next level of our business growth. We, since we want to do business expansion, we are looking at all the fields that how could our business grow. So we look at startups who can give us data based evidence, who can tell us exactly we know our expertise, how do we expand, what are the technological support we will need, what are the marketing support we will need, what are the social media support we will need. And we have hired those kind of agencies to help us. So we have a special arm now, last 3-4 years, which looks into various different kind of growth for our business. So we've employed those kind of people to help us, and we've employed a lot of new startups who would be like us, to help us to expedite our business model growth.
Right. So when you are employing or collaborating with such vendors, what are the parameters you judge them upon before being associated to?
Okay. A little legwork that we do on our own is that they have to be very innovative. So we go through the little track record, their customer base. It's not that they need to have a wide customer base, but we look at the kind of customers they have served and what kind of those customers have taken from them. So it's very important. You can have just 3 customers, but those 3, you may have made a major impact for those customers. So it's very important that we look for innovative people who can give us that. We also would want to hire those people who have intimate understanding, or you can say servitization of their customers. So that's very important. So whenever we interview them, we have a questionnaire for them, or a Google form to be filled. Servitization for me is very important, the customer servitization. I also look at social authenticity, like how are their opinions? Are they more socially? Are they going on the right track? Are they morally upright? Are they very authentic in their ideas? How are they employee-centric? That's also very important. So these are a few parameters I definitely look on when I, look for those kind of vendor. And I look at them, can they be a brand ambassador for us? Most important. So these are the things I would look at when I'm employing the vendors.
Right. Also, in the previous question, you were talking about your future plans. So, in that line of question, I would ask that: have you planned any certain small goals or long-term goals for the near future?
Yeah. So there are a few things that we would. I think in my 25th year, I would do a recce first. Where are we now? A graph of achievement for the first 25 years. We may have had 6 institutes under our kitty. So it's very important that first I look what we progressed, how long it took us to progress, what was the market capitalization in this 25 years, where is our Perth going. After reviewing and recceing and putting it across to my team and all the expertise that we have employed, our next step would be plan for 3 years, 5 years and 10 years. So our goals are broken into a smaller span of time. We've got our timeline for succession and our timeline for growth, both together side by side dealing. So we have had a vision, where would we like to see ourselves in the next 3 years? And in so many areas that we deal in, what is our expertise and what should we, what would be in the first 3 years? So my special school is our USP. So we want to take a model of our special school, Pan India, which we have been planning since quite some time, and we've got the base done. So our base is already established. 30% from the base, we've already started working on it. Last 2 years, we were 50% working for it. So 50% work is already done for our special school to expand. Another area that we need for expansion is our early intervention centers. We've got about 3 early intervention centers at present in the city of Pune. We want to go pan India. We are looking for a lot of collaborations because we've got our Teachers Training Institute in Bangladesh also. So now we want to go global. We've already started working on it since past 3 years. So our next 3 years, I would say, are in 4 areas: special school, early intervention center, collaborations, and in training people up. And giving India the right kind of teachers that they need. Since we have a Teachers Training Institute, we've done a lot of market research. We are short of more than 126,000 teachers only in Maharashtra. So if we go by statistics-driven research, from that research, we've planned our future plans. And our timeline for the next 5 years is ready.
Right. So you are vividly talking about the expansion of the fragmented ideas that you have.
Right.
So we also know that when a business or any startup wants to expand, having funds plays a really big role in it. So now I know that you have not taken any loans as of now. But are you planning to in the near future to expand the business the way you envision it?
So it will, I think our entire finance team has been looking at that part of it. I think now there would be a time when the need arises. We would look for future venture capitalists to join hands. We would look at, of course, loans being taken, but I think I would want to have joint venture partners. So instead of taking loans, I think that would be the area that we are looking at. I have my son who's a corporate lawyer who deals in mergers and acquisitions. So we have been looking at certain acquisitions and certain merger proposals. That is what we are looking at. So the cash flow can be managed. Regarding the human resource management, we have a different kind of a model for human resource management. We give a chance to all people who are with us to climb the ladder of success. So human resource is managed in a very different way at our business model. And unless and until we do not have those pool of resources, we go and look and invite applications for outside us to join us. So that is a little on that.
Right. Also, last question is that since the pandemic has hit us, and since you are dealing with children like the growing years, and since the pandemic, they all have been kind of closed in the four walls of the house. So, how have you, as a person in charge, motivated yourself as well as your employees as well as your students?
Excellent question, Namrata. When the pandemic struck, since we are dealing with children, for us, mental, emotional health was always a priority. It's never an academic or a curriculum. That's available on a drop of a hat and on a click of a mouse now. So what is the most important is to take care of human resources. So we had various initiatives with parents, children, and our entire staff to take care of. So pandemic did not deter us. So let me talk about the kids. We did a whole lot of series of program for our kids, which was not academic based, to keep their mental and emotional health going. Last 16 months, we've taken care beautifully of our children's mental and emotional health in form of activities, in form of talks. So we have a range of children right from 3 years till 20 years. And of course, because of our training college, we have till 40 years. It was very important. We had a counselor always. We had we had these little sessions when we used to listen to them, listen to what are the challenges they faced. Given a lot of time, myself and the entire team has been sitting and hearing each other out, connecting with them emotionally, virtually, physically also. We started having people coming to our school, our facilitators, once a month, once in 15 days. We had our parents coming once a month, to have a chit chat with us, keeping all the protocols in mind. We had our children coming, in small groups to pick up their books, to, connect with their teachers. So physical world, we have kept in touch. We did not close our door to the physical world. Of course, we had to take in mind all the protocols. For the children, as I told you, they were physically coming and not coming. And of course, on the Microsoft Teams, we have initiatives for them, like parenting toolbox was going on, a lot of life skill training was going on. After that, for our facilitators, we did a number of programs, entertainment, also a lot of entertaining programs like musical programs, stand-up comedian. We had a lot of initiatives taken for them to keep their mental health going, in the sense that we had heart-to-heart chats. We used to meet and have these little coffee table conversations. All that went on. For parents, we had a series of doctors visiting us, counselors talking about them, series of edu-meets. So everything to keep them going, we had to do. Lot of initiatives. And we did a lot of initiatives for children who had lost their parents, or we had a couple of them, so we had to take care of them at various levels. So we had to do that.
Well, that would bring an end to this session, but it was lovely talking to you. Thank you for taking out your time and speaking your heart out on our forum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Namrata. Before I go, I just want to wish all the people who are going to have their startup, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, that once you set your mind on it, once you, I think there's nothing to, set you back. Once you start dreaming about it day in and day night, whatever your startup may be, small or big, it just falls into place. Most of the things for me, organically it falls into place. Sometimes you don't even have a mind map, and you don't even know that this will happen. But if you dream and if you put your heart to it, I think all the angels are waiting there to let you achieve those things. So whoever wants to start, whether it's you're 60 years old, or whether you are 30 years old, or whether you're just 18 years old, you do not need to worry about it. I'm sure if you perseverance, hard work, all these words are said day in and day out, but I have lived through all of it, and I think you can just achieve it. Thank you so much to Startup Lane for having me with them today. I really want to thank you, because these kind of motivational talk, if it's going to reach a whole lot of audience, I'm sure it will be profit a lot of people out there. Thank you so much.
Surely, ma'am. Surely. Thank you so much for joining today.